Is it weird to drive by your old therapist's office?
Like a stalker?
Not like a stalker.
Like a crazy ex-boyfriend?
It's on my way home either way, but I go by to see, is he still there? Is he working late? Because we used to have late hours, and then I switched when I wasn't working. I switched to like Monday mornings or whatever. And now,
Did y'all end on good terms?
ended on good terms, more or less. I ended because I started my new job.
So you ended it. He didn't end it.
Yeah, I mean, this is our second breakup.
Oh, okay.
The first one was more like without a warning type of thing.
From you?
Actually, they were both without a warning, I guess. Yeah. One was just like, hey, I think we got to take a time out, because I started seeing him as a homie. And so I was just going and talking to a friend rather than getting like therapy and all this stuff. It was just like hanging out. And then I had to pay him X amount of dollars to just hang out.
So you're like, I'm having too much fun
And
in these things to be giving you money.
No, and like we would just talk about comedy a lot, and he would ask me about like this special or this guy or this clip and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and then we go like, all right, man. Well, we gotta wrap up. And I was like, oh shit, was that therapy? Was that a therapy session?
Did you tell him that's what it was for?
What?
Or did you just stop going?
No, I told him, I was like, hey, I think we're gonna take a break. I guess because like I don't feel like I'm really working on anything. I don't really feel like I'm working on like issues. I feel like I come here and I just talk comedy, and then you talk comedy, and then you talk your stuff. And like I feel like we're just hanging out.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. When I come to these sessions, I feel like you talk a lot, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, man. Like it was just like we were hanging out, and it was cool. But then I still had to like pay him for it, and I was like, I don't know if that's fucking fair. And so I took a break, maybe a good like fucking 3-4 months. And then I just texted him out of the blue. I was like, hey, man, do you have any...
up?
Yeah, pretty much. I pretty much texted him like, hey, how are things?
Hey,
Is this still your number?
Hey, is it cool if I still text you? I understand if you're in a new relationship.
Yeah, and then I hit him up. I was like, hey, I got these days available. Like, if you're not doing anything, let me know. And then we finally figured it out, because
How long did it take him to text you back?
Not that long.
Oh my God, he's eager.
Kind of eager. Which was kind of nice. He missed me. I feel like he missed me.
Yeah.
And what's funny, and it's kind of happening again now, is that like when we first broke up, took a break. We were on a break. He kept popping up on my Facebook, like suggested.
Oh, Meta.
How does that work?
Because Meta knows, because you say his name too much.
Because I say his name, or because I heard I asked somebody else, how does suggested friends come up?
They
They're
look
like,
up your profile.
They looked up the profile.
That's what my ex used to say. It's like, so-and-so's looking at my profile. Why? That's why I would say. I mean,
I kind of felt a certain way when like somebody said like, oh no, that means that they're searching you up.
yeah. So what kind of guy are you into? So I can know what he looks like.
He's a little shorter than I'm used to.
Shorter than
He's a little shorter than I'm used to.
Mexican?
He is Mexican.
Okay.
Here's how I pick my therapist.
Weight?
By location. No, I don't care about weight.
Okay.
Location and ethnicity.
And size of their pen?
And no, I don't care about that.
I don't care about that.
I don't care about that. Yeah, there had to be Mexican.
Yeah.
Just because they kind of get it. They kind of get like the challenges of growing up Mexican.
You don't like any sort of this, biracial therapy.
I've had white therapists.
They just
don't connect.
Never had a black one.
No.
In college?
No, never.
You didn't have one black therapist in college? No. You didn't get drunk one time and get you a black therapist in college?
Actually, the very first therapist I dealt with when I was a kid was a black lady.
Oh, man. Did you ask to touch her hair?
No. No. She had very nice hair.
What? Come on. That was a good riff. Yeah. You could have fucking lobbed. I fucking lobbed one over to you. You the opposite of fucking yes and. You went, no. Anyways.
Well, I was a kid. I didn't know that was a bad thing.
There's so many funny things you could have fucking spritzed her with water. I don't know. You could have, anyways.
But I never thought about it. But she was a liar. She said like, oh, whatever
Do you
you
think
say
it's
here.
because she's black?
No, I just think because she's a woman. No, she did that whole thing like, oh, whatever you say here, it's just between us. And then she told my mom everything. I was like, what the fuck, lady?
Yeah, well, you can't tell her about the cats you're killing in the alley.
No, dude.
You would never tell her about that.
No.
I know. You got fucking...
They were rats.
Yeah.
Rats are different. I would never kill a cat.
I mean, big enough rat's basically a cat.
I did break a dog's foot once on accident, but anyway.
You see, I asked a random question and see...
It brought back something I never thought about, and fucking...
You probably what you told that therapist.
I thought I buried that for, like the dog. I thought I
Like the
buried
dog.
that away, dude. But so that's the only black therapist that I had.
Yeah.
Most of them were women, except for this guy. This guy is the first guy therapist, which is wild. Like, I've been through all these women therapists. Turns out I just needed a good man.
But do you?
I mean, it was cool. I mean, because
You can't stop going back to me. You're addicted to what's addicted.
here's what it did. It took the pressure off. Because when you're talking to female therapists, it's like a date. I want to impress them.
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable, but I'm not weak.
Yeah.
I cry, but I'll still hit you.
Yeah.
Like I want them to have. I did like I did.
It's the San Antonio inside you that you can't let a woman know. You can't get too weak in front of a woman because they got to know their place.
And it's once I got vulnerable with the women, because at first it would be like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it would be more comfortable. Because
Yeah.
it's more comfortable being
Did
like,
you ever find yourself like tearing up? And be like,
oh, I cried
and then
all the
like,
time.
I swear everyone would do.
You better not tell anybody.
And then that's why you had to break up with your boy because you did that to him, and he was like, "I'll beat the shit out of you."
No.
Like, I'm not coming back.
But it did change things. Like when I mean,
Power dynamic.
the power dynamic changed, and then I always thought like, oh man, like are we vibing with the female therapist?
Oh, I thought you were saying that with the male.
No. I'm saying like
With the male, you're vibing. That's
I'm
the problem.
saying, yeah, like, and I fucked them. No, but like most of my therapists, it's always been like very awkward because they've all been female therapists. And then the last one before the guy, it seemed like she wanted a thing. You know, she kept talking about her boyfriend and how bad her relationship is, and she said I should stop talking to my family and possibly think about separating from my wife. The therapist.
The male therapist.
No, the female therapist.
She had a wife? She was lesbian?
No, that I should stop talking to my
I
family.
thought she was just telling you.
No. She
That's-
said that, like, and maybe you should think about separating. And I was like, what?
This bitch trying to fuck me?
What?
Are you trying to smash papas?
But she would always talk about how, like, her difficulties in her relationship. I was like, that's very interesting.
See, but here's the
And
thing.
also, it's taking up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I don't like that. But here's the thing is like, I am very big on like, don't talk shit about your partner to anybody for one reason. Because the second things kind of get like fixed between you and your wife are together.
Yeah.
Y'all guys are good. This happened a long time ago. She's like, you used to get separated, and now y'all guys are good. And my fear is always that person's gonna like come around and be like, I thought she was a fucking bitch. I'm like, don't talk about her like that. I love her. It's like, yeah, but you told me. It's like, I was mad.
Well, they have. I think they have confidentiality, doctor-patient confidentiality stuff.
Yeah, unless you kill somebody. I think. I mean,
That's
I wouldn't
priest.
know. No,
The priest has to say. The therapist.
No,
doesn't.
a priest wouldn't say anything.
The therapist has to say something if
You're gonna hurt somebody.
you're
or
going to
yourself.
hurt somebody.
Or
If they
yourself.
could present it or yourself. If they could prevent it or yourself. I don't know if they could go to court or testify in
Yeah,
court.
they can. If they're legally or if they're subpoenaed or
Well, I don't have anything like that to worry about anyway. But
now the Pope only answers Jesus.
but that's because of all that, hubbub with the female therapist. That's why I was like, well, let me try dudes.
And so now you got your first dude, and you.
I was seeing this dude from.
And now you're driving by his place at night, seeing if he's there.
Just-
You wonder where he's at when
just
you don't see his car.
I wonder if he's thinking about me too. No, I see his car there.
Where you like I see his. But if his car wasn't
It's literally
there,
on my way home. It's not like I'm not going out of my way. I'm not going out of my way to see who's there. Because again, I picked a doctor, a therapist, a friend, by location. So of course he's going to be on my way home from work. Now,
If you don't see his car there, do you wonder? Like,
I get a little sad.
do you go? Did he take off? Did he go on vacation? Didn't even tell me.
I get a little sad. Well, not sad. Curiously sad.
Yeah, you're a girl.
Not a girl. I'm
No,
just
no,
like,
no. I'm not. That wasn't a question. I was telling you, you are a girl. I don't know if you got that one mixed up.
It's a very weird dynamic. It's a very weird situation.
If you drive past the parking lot and see looking for a man's car, and then when you don't see it, you go,
oh, I thought you were gonna say, "What if I see another car in the parking lot?" When I see another,
you would slip both their tires.
No, I'm happy for him. I'm happy
You want him
for
to
him.
find love.
What's up?
You want him to find love.
I want him to stay busy. I want him, like, to me, I'm thinking without me, he's losing all this money.
Yeah, of course.
So when I see cars in his parking lot, I'm like, get that money, dog.
Yeah.
Get that money.
But a little part of you
fake
hurts.
that friendship with them, homie.
Oh, you think he's faking it with them?
I don't know.
Yours was real.
He did tell me I was his favorite.
Do you think he says that to all of his clients?
I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
Because it's a great way to, like, kind of say, like, validate you.
Yeah. How do you do in strip clubs?
I haven't been in a strip club in a while. I've thought about going, but I haven't asked the wife yet.
Yeah, but how do you do in strip clubs?
When I did go to strip clubs, I mean, it's been...
Yeah. How many hours? Do you make it within the first hour before you're like, oh, I got to give this girl extra money because she's got class in the morning? And
No,
like,
I went in there acting like they need to work for my affection.
I love that.
Yeah. I didn't go give it up. I never made it rain. Not that I would. Not that I could.
No,
but
if the girl's never giving you a sob story and you throw her a little extra 20, or do you think they really like you? Do you go, this one really wants to fuck?
No, I knew that they didn't like me.
I actually did hook up with. It's so funny. I hooked up with a stripper. I was like 19. I hooked up with the stripper in the strip club, and I remember I was so drunk. My friend gave me a condom, and I went to the back, and I remember she kept on being like, we went to a room like the door closed, and she kept on being like, I never do this. I never do this. And then
that's a lie.
We laid on a couch, started having sex. As soon as we started having sex, she reached over and hit a timer on a clock, and it was like, that's how many minutes we have before he's coming through that door. So whatever you got to do it. And as soon
who's coming through the door? The bouncer?
Yeah. And so as soon we were having sex, and then I came on her stomach, and I remember she like reached over and knew where the baby wipes were, like had them like that instantly, and then wiped up, and I went out, and my boys was like, oh, what happened? And I told him, and he was like, yeah, you used a condom? And I reached in my pocket and pulled out the condom and was like, oh, fuck.
Jesus, dude.
I never told you about what happened at Paradise.
No. There's so many things in that story that are so bad. The timer, does the timer call the bouncer? How does she know the bouncer's coming?
Because the bouncers know, okay, they went in that room, 15 minutes is how long you pay to be in the room.
Oh, okay.
For a private VIP dance.
Okay.
So she hits that timer and she goes, when that thing fucking goes off, like any second they will be walking through the door. Because they don't know if you're in there doing something, like when the time's up, the time's up. You could be fucking hurting them, or you know what I mean? Like, so they walk in there like, hey, you want to buy more time or like out?
Yeah.
And so and then the baby wipes, it's because they're getting blowed all over them all the time.
And you didn't use a condom.
Didn't even think about it.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. No, one time there's this strip club in San Antonio called Paradise. It's in a double wide trailer on the side of a highway. And I remember one time it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'd been doing blow all night. And everybody was like done, and I was still like gacked out, and I was convinced I was gonna get laid. So I was like, no, God, go to another strip club. They're like, bro, we've been to all of them, like we shut them all down, like it's done. I was like, nah, this one's open 24/7. So we show up, my boys stay in the car, I get out, the doors are like open to the double wide, so I can see inside, and there's lights going, and there's all this shit. So I walk in, and it's all the lights, all the music going. Not a single person. Not one person in there. And I'm walking around, I'm looking, and finally like a bouncer comes walking around the corner. He's like, hey, what's going on, man? I'm like, the girls? Where are the girl? Yeah, it's a strip club right in here. He's like, oh yeah, hold on 1 second. And he walks to the back. And he comes back like 2 minutes later, and then like 3 seconds behind him comes one of the fattest white girls I've ever seen in my life. I thought she was naked. I found out later she was in fact wearing underwear and a bra. I just couldn't see them. She was naked, and she came around the corner wiping fucking sleep out of her eyes, like wiping boogies out of her eyes. Like, she was asleep. He went in the back and woke up a stripper. She came out and gave me what I can only describe as the most lackluster lap dance I've ever had.
She just woke up.
I don't care. Have a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? I got Coke. You want to pump a Coke? What are we doing here? So he just sat on me, grinding, while we tried to discuss the price of a blowjob I wasn't going to be able to complete with the amount of Coke I had been on, but this guy. Mm-hmm. And so I forget what ended up happening, but I ended up just walking out and being so just sad with my life at that point. Just being like, what even am I?
Yeah.
But that's paradise.
The come down from that stuff is pretty hard.
Yeah, pun intended.
Pun intended.
There we go.
We were talking about my therapist. How do we get on your strippers?
Well, buddy, we're talking about therapy. This is
that was your therapy.
Yeah.
Did you actually talk to these strippers about your problems and stuff?
Have I ever talked to a stripper about my problems? Yeah. Oh, I've ended up like doing blow with the stripper till like 5 a.m, smoking cigarettes, and didn't even have sex. Just talking about life. A stripper has it pretty rough.
But you do that stuff that you're going to talk about. You're going to say the most bizarre stuff anyway. Have you ever talked to a stripper sober for your therapy?
No.
You can't call it therapy if you're under the influence.
Why?
Because it's just wild bullshit.
No. You talk about some. So you don't do drugs. Have you ever been fucked up on Molly or Coke or like mushrooms and just hanging out with somebody who you usually wouldn't have anything in common with, and you start talking about like crazy shit, and you're like, you went through that, and you start talking about things for hours? Tell me that's not therapy. I
don't know. They usually try to start a business.
See, you're thinking of like 80s sitcom Coke. I'm talking about like. So anyways, that's why my mom left and this, that, and you're like, damn, son, okay, man. Yeah, go through all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did it feel like therapy? Did you feel better afterwards?
Yeah, I've definitely had some long talks on drugs with strippers and felt better. Maybe not even about my life, but maybe I helped them. Maybe a stripper's like putting her titties in my face, and she's like, I never thought about it like that. Maybe my dad was just misunderstood. I'm like, oh.
So you're saying that you are the therapist for these strippers?
Maybe I am, and by helping them, it in turn fills my cup. Fills my cup.
To be the therapist makes you feel therapized?
It makes me feel
therapized
as shit.
Therapized?
And my cup overfloweth with some sort of STD.
Have you ever been to therapy? A real therapist? A certified therapist?
I don't think so. Yeah, but it's been not like in a nice way.
No, it's court-ordered?
I've been sent to places. I was in Laurel Ridge. I was in like a couple of like outpatient mental things.
You ever thought about going to therapy?
Yeah, but I don't have the money. And I also like have this thing where they talk about it in therapy where it's like you do so much diagnosis all the time that like going to a therapist, it's almost like they're going to tell you something and you're like, yeah, obviously, I know that. What? Tell me something else. And they're like, basically, like, you know what you need to do, you just need to implement it. And a therapist can't make you implement. Like, I'm self-aware, which is the problem, because I know what's fucked up about me. I'm perfectly aware of my flaws. It's just a matter of like implementing it. Some people walk through this earth.
You don't think it's easier to implement it when somebody else is challenging you to do it?
No, I don't take well to like chat like that. It's sort of like, ooh.
Really? I would think that you are somebody who wants to prove somebody wrong or right. In
my own way, but like a weird. That's why I never graduated high school into that, because the second somebody does that, I go, oh yeah, fuck you so much, fuck me to prove to you, fuck you.
How does it even work?
Like
you're gonna not do something good for you.
Like, how about you do this in school and do this paper and like show us that you really care. Oh, how about I don't fucking show up on Monday and you suck my dick? How about that? How about you never see me
suck your dick if you don't show up?
Figure it out. I'll mail it to you.
I'm military.
All right, fucking. Yeah, send you my yeah. That is an issue that I'm like trying to actively work on now. But it, again, is like been a huge thing of why I'm probably in this basement right now.
Yeah.
It's like my life challenges because I'm not necessarily like a dumb person. I just something about authority or something about somebody challenging me with like a sincere challenge of like, hey, you think we can do this? Like, okay, fuck yeah, maybe. But this like reverse psychology, like, oh, I'll put this pressure on them and then they'll do it. And then at the end, I'll go, see, I knew you had it in you the whole time. I see what you're doing. And to counteract that, I will kill myself. And then what? I will, go tell everybody you fixed the fucking, some street kid now. He's dead, you idiot.
What if somebody sincerely wants to fix you, not to fucking like pat themselves on the back, but to actually fucking fix you because they actually give a fuck?
Oh, yeah. And again, I look back on so many people that tried to help me in my life and be like, fuck, that one was really trying to help me. Like, oh, shit, okay.
I believe that people are actually trying to help just to benefit that person. I don't think they're doing it to better
Not
themselves.
everybody. But there are people that do that. Like the people that go feed a homeless man but film it.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And
they're
like,
doing
well,
it for
yeah,
themselves.
you're giving him $1,000, but like
You're letting people know. You want people to know what you're
like,
doing.
There's just so much of that in the world, and like I grew up in a really like broken, fucking weird home. So like there was so many people from so many different avenues being like, "Hey, can I help you? Hey, can I help you? Hey, can I help you? Hey, you need this and you need that and you need this." And I'm like, "You think I don't fucking know that? You think I'm looking around my household being like, yeah, this is pretty fucking normal? No shit, dumbass. I know what I need. Like, okay, and."
Why don't you fix it? If you know, if
But
you're
it's
so
not-
self-aware of the things that you have to fix, why don't you fix it?
Well, because like when I was now, I do. Now I'm not that much, but I also don't have much authority in my life. Like my job is something that I don't deal with bosses really. Comedy, not really authority. I've geared my life to be to where I don't deal with that. I don't have to interact with people. I don't have to. Yeah.
But you are in charge of your own like dealings, your own happiness, and you're
Yeah.
still saying like, "Well, I'm not going to do it.
No.
I know what I need to do. I know how to fix or what needs to be fixed, but I'm just not going to."
Well, no. I'm actively working towards fixing it. Like you've seen it all in like the past year and stuff like that. Like total like different personality and like I know what I need to do. It's just like it's not an immediate fix. Anybody will tell you that. Like it's something you work at every day to like change who you are.
Yeah.
But as a kid or as a younger person, people telling me like when people like tell me for years I needed to quit drinking. No shit. You think? You think the 5 fucking totaled cars? You think the 3 DWIs? You think every relationship I have failing? You think like me looking at my alcoholic parents and me like you think I don't fucking know that? You would really be a lot further along and be happy if you didn't drink. No shit. Dude, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink tonight. I'm gonna drink tomorrow. I'm gonna drink the next night because I'm fucking drinking. Suck my dick.
So you stopped drinking because somebody told you to?
No, I stopped
Interesting.
drinking.
Interesting.
I stopped drinking because I totaled my car,
And somebody told you should probably stop.
No. Actually, nobody found out about my truck. It was just my mom, and my mom was at the point where she's like, "You're gonna die." She's like, "You're gonna die or go to prison. So just have fun with that." Which I was. The next DWI is prison time. So that's what stopped me is being like, "Well, I'm not gonna like go to. I'm not gonna go to prison, and I'm not gonna leave my daughter. Now that I have a daughter, I'm like, I can't be the same shit. So I have to change." So like it wasn't for me necessarily. It's because like I refuse to be again, it wasn't necessarily for my daughter, it is for my daughter, but because of bad parenting growing up, I refuse to be a bad parent. See again, it's in spite of my parents. Like I fucking refuse to be a bad parent. I will die before I'm a bad parent. So that you can say, "Ooh, see, it's not that easy, is it?" Fuck that. So because of that, I am an amazing dad. And not because I don't. Of course, I love my daughter and I want to be an amazing dad. But there is something inside of me that's like, I don't fucking never be like you. So the drinking, stopping that was again in like a spite thing of like, oh, none of y'all think I can do it. I'll fucking show all of you. And I did it in one day.
So you only do things to prove people wrong.
In my own ways, out of spite.
Interesting. You're driven by spite.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Jesus, that sounds exhausting.
It is, Pat. It is. Which is why I fucking...
It sounds exhausting, dude.
It is, which is why I do things where, like, if you bring up things, I go off and I, like, die. Because I've been thinking about this nonstop, incessantly. Every second of every day for years now. So it's like I'm doing this thing now where I'm trying to be like Dalai Lama, where it's like, everybody has their place and we have to do but if you try to get me off that and you say no, let's talk shit. I'm like, all right, no, well, let's fucking burn this bitch to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not burn the world to the ground because that's all I've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, it gets old, man.
It does.
Being so angry at the fucking world.
Brother, I listen to music.
Shit gets
now.
old.
I'll listen to music and just remembered, like listen to some Job for a Cowboy, and I'm like, I remember being 14 and listening to this and being so fucking mad at the world.
Just
and
get
so,
angry.
And now I'll listen
when you're
to
not really angry, you're just like, I'm just so fucking
the other day, Korn came on, and out loud, I didn't even, but I was like, Freak on a Leash or something like that came on, and I was like, I was such an angry kid. Yeah. Just like and taking it out on the world, just like
I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, you mentioned Korn. I went back and I don't know what made me do this, but I started listening to the Korn's first album, the self-released first album. I was like, this shit's so fucking amazing.
It's so amazing.
It's so amazing. Anything produced by Ross Robinson, like in the early fucking late 90s, early 2000s, was just so fucking amazing.
Was their first album self-titled, or was it?
Yeah.
What's the one where she's walking down the path?
That's Follow the Leader. That's like their third album.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's the one that had Freak on a Leash?
Freak on the Leash, yeah. That's the one that kind of fell off. Because I really loved the self-titled one. It was mind-boggling. There was nothing fucking mind-blowing, rather. Yeah. There was nothing out there like that. And it was just like the beginning of fucking nu metal. And like, I wasn't even that angry. I did have anger issues as a kid, but I'm not as angry as the music that I listened to. Which made me even more angry and it validated my anger because I was look, I'm not the only angry one here. And now I'm even more angry because they're angry too.
Yeah.
And then like, I was even listening to this like this past weekend. I was like, it's just so fucking raw and fucking like unproduced. What I like about Ross Robinson, and it gives its own vibe too, is that like he records to no click.
Yeah.
There's no metronome on it. There's no nothing. You play live in the fucking live room, and that's what the drummer speeds up. He slows down. Whatever the fuck. It's such a beautiful thing because they do that to the metronome to like punch in fucking fix that, fix this, fix this vocal thing. Without the metronome, it's a fucking free for all.
Yeah.
And it adds to the vibe. It adds to the attitude of the record. Even though like tonally, it's not as like well sounding or overproduced as like the perfect studio albums. And that's why I felt like Freak on the Leash. They went with a different producer. A producer that went to a click and it went to
but it sounds better.
It does sound better, but it doesn't have that same feel to it.
One thing
it doesn't have the rawness to it.
One thing I had to get like you got to watch out with that because then you can get too deep in the world of like raw stuff to where you start like there was people that were real into like Joy Division. Yeah. And I remember one thing that they were always freaking out. I think the drummer went on the roof. They were recording in like a little studio apartment and the drummer like went on the roof or something like weird like that and was like playing outside and it gives it like this it's very odd sound, but it's a very specific sort of like grungy. So people are like, see, you need that. I'm like, not really. It doesn't sound necessarily good.
It was before the computers. It was before like people could do plugins like, make it sound like it was like playing in a barn or whatever. No, they would fucking go to the barn or they would fucking put a snare on top of the toilet. Yeah. They would lift the toilet seat, put the snare on the toilet and play it on that. And it gives it a very like a reverby sound that you could get that now with the plug-in thing, press a button, all that stuff.
Listen to like early Janis Joplin, it doesn't sound good.
I mean, it could sound better. They could remaster.
It could, and it does now.
But imagine like the rawness of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's why you
our
have
ears
bands
become more
like-
delicate. Our ears become more delicate, and we want like softer sounding edges.
No, but like a band like the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
So studio produced, obviously.
Yeah.
They're all amazing studio musicians, and they're like. But when you see them live, it is note for note perfect. That is what I think is important. How was the live show? Let's
Yeah.
not get so hung up on like how you recorded it, because at the end of the day, it is recorded, so you had a chance to edit or take another take. I want to see you do this, bitch. One take right here in front of me. That's what's so great about like the Stones. Mick Jagger's still up there, running around, wailing, going, and you're like, he's got it.
I've never seen the Stones, man. The one opportunity I had to see the Stones, I was in Seattle. I had a free ticket to go see them at Safeco Field. I had the fucking flu, and I couldn't fucking
wasn't meant to
go.
be.
And I've never seen the Stones, and it bugs me because I wonder if they do sound like that. Because I do like the Stones,
Yeah.
but there's no way he
They
could
sound
be
perfect.
running around and fucking sounding perfect.
He is, yeah. People freak out, but he also like wakes up and
Every
fucking
day exercises, calisthenics.
you've heard like he's got this crazy regimen. It's like, yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's not.
But
easy.
then you look at Ozzy and they fucking wheel him up in a wheelbarrow and slide him out on the stage, and then he just slumps up and goes, of darkness. That's because he was snorting ants. See the difference?
Yeah,
You know, all
he
Mick
doesn't
Jagger
exercise
was
as much.
doing was banging dudes, which revitalized him.